Welcome to the relay. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. I'm sure most of you have heard by now. There seems to be a plan in place for Bakole Mayer to step foot in the ring with reigning WBO welterweight champion Sandy Ryan, September 27th at the Theater in Madison Square Garden.
Who's distributing the fight?
Preliminary reports indicate this is going down on ESPN, which would make it a top-rank show, not a Matchroom show. Sandy Ryan will be crossing over from Matchroom over to Top Rank to defend her title against former unified super featherweight champion Bakole Mayer. What do I think about this news?
Baumgartner versus Pursoon is supposed to be happening that same day on Fubo and Brinks TV.
Though because this fight is happening on a major platform that boxing fans are already used to watching boxing on, that would give Ryan versus Mayer the edge as far as who's going to draw more eyes to their fight.
Ryan versus Mayer.
As well as who's going to put more asses in more seats. Once again, that's Ryan versus Mayer, as Alicia Baumgartner herself says. Her fight with Delphine Pursoon is a private event. It's not even open to the public. There are no tickets on sale for that show, and we don't even know who's going to be on the undercard.
That gives the edge to Ryan versus Mayer.
Now, as far as Ryan versus Mayer as a fight, why is Sandy Ryan choosing to concede home field advantage,
She's not going to be the hometown fighter because the fight is happening on American soil. She's not going to be the house fighter since it's happening under the Top Rank banner, not the Matchroom banner. Why is she doing this?
What the hell is her problem?
You're complaining?
Matchroom have never been ones to protect their fighters from challenges. No, Matchroom doesn't protect their prospects, their contenders, their champions. I mean, remember, they sent Alicia Baumgartner to Boxer to fight Bakole. Now they're sending Sandy to Top Rank to do the same thing. They don't protect their fighters. And Sandy on the heels of her big win, her knockout win over Terry Harper, is riding high, feeling confident, knowing that she already stopped one naturally smaller fighter, one former champion in Terry Harper. Now she believes that she can stop the other. She can stop Bakole Mayer!
Battle of the Snow Bunnies. Battle of the badass white women.
I like it, though I want to say that where I used to wonder who was made out of tougher stuff, Terry Harper or Bakole Mayer, I think that now we have an answer, a more conclusive answer as to who the tougher fighter is, and I think it's Bakole.
I think Bakole over time has proven herself to be a better physical specimen than Terry, a more durable fighter, and a better boxer.
What does any of this have to do with her fighting Sandy?
Sandy just fought Terry.
Compare how Bakole performed against Alicia Baumgartner and how Terry performed against Alicia Baumgartner. She got knocked out. Compare how Terry performed against Natasha Jonas and how Bakole performed against Natasha Jonas. Most people that saw that fight felt that Bakole got robbed. Bakole got jobbed, that she was the real winner of the fight.
Okay.
Now compare how Terry Harper did against Sandy Ryan. She got stopped again, and how Bakole has never been stopped at 130, at 147. She's never been knocked out. She's never even been knocked down. I think Bakole holds a better shot, takes a better punch than Terry Harper. I think she's a better boxer than Terry Harper. Thus, opposite the ring Sandy Ryan, I don't think Sandy's going to handle her as easily as she just did Terry. I don't think Sandy's just going to go in there and bully her, get her out of there as easily as she got Terry Harper out of there in her last fight.
It's negligible, but I do think Bakole Mayer is a little faster than Sandy Ryan, a little quicker to the draw. Where Sandy may be physically stronger, Bakole's a little faster.
They're about eye level to each other. Both girls are a tall drink of water, tall drink of boxing. Ow! But Bakole does have the slimmer build. She's the more slender fighter, the more wiry fighter, whereas Sandy is more of a natural to this weight, more filled out as a welterweight.
Stronger, too.
I think that Sandy is going to be the aggressor, and Bakole is going to be the defender. That's what I see. I see that Bakole's going to try to walk Sandy into punches because she doesn't have to find her.
She'll move around, keep some distance between her and Sandy to set traps and walk her into punches. Now, whether or not she can get Sandy's respect.
Can she get Sandy to slow down, simmer her down? Can she do that? I'm not completely sure because Michaela's never been a knockout merchant and she's never been that authoritative a puncher.
The edge and power goes to Sandy. I've already said that.
If they end up mid-range to inside with each other, the edge goes to Sandy Ryan because not only is she comfortable there, not only is that her sweet spot, but she is the physically stronger fighter. So Michaela's got to try to keep this a boxing match where Sandy has to make it a fight. And as the away fighter,
She better.
this fight is happening on U.S. soil, which entails more of a commitment from Top Rank to the career of Michaela Mayer than we've seen in the last 2 years, because in the last 2 years, she's been fighting under other banners. The Boxer banner, the Queensbury banner.
All in the UK.
And there was a rhyme and a reason for that, but better still, it's been a very long time since Michaela fought on a top-ranked show on U.S. soil. It's been a while.
They got her a title shot. They got her a title fight.
Ballsy of Sandy Ryan, WBO champion, to fight Michaela under these auspices, but I won't begrudge her courage.
What the hell is a courage?
I guess they wanted to make the fight, and we just told them to send an offer. We ain't hit nothing back yet, but like I said, that fight is gonna happen. I'm not gonna act like I'm not gonna act like the fight is not gonna happen. Me and him is the best. We the best fighters coming up. Best fighters at the 135-pound division. There's no way of the fight not happening. So I know fans want to scream and say all of these things. This guy's ducking. This guy. They want to find a person to say that somebody's ducking. But I ain't scared to fight him. He's not scared to fight me. And it's going to be a hell of a fight when the fight happens.
Has there been any talks with Tank's team?
They reached out, but we told them to come back with an offer. And as far as that, we ain't heard nothing since then. Me and him fighting each other, we'll seal the deal on the kings of that division, the kings of this era, the kings of everything. So like I've been saying it for years, the moment is going to come, and when it happens, I'll be ready.
Why does Shakur Stevenson beat Gervonta Davis?
Because that I'm a better skilled boxer. I master the art of hitting and not getting hit. And he will be the person that will have to change up his style. He can't go out there and box and lose rounds. He will have to change up his style and just become full blast aggressor to try to have a chance in winning the fight.
That's the latest from Shakur Stevenson, and not much about that situation has changed. I'm not surprised at all that not much has changed. That contact was made between Team Davis and Team Stevenson, but Team Stevenson afterwards never heard anything back.
And he still hasn't signed on to fight anybody else. He's still open to where if what you really want is to make a fight with Shakur, he's available.
Anything involving Gervonta Davis becomes a polarizing issue with a certain section of boxing fans because in their eyes, he can do no wrong even when the ball is in his court to make the fight and make the deal. If he's the face of boxing or just the biggest name at this weight, it's on him to get it done, not Shakur. Shakur is a free agent.
What the hell can he do?
He can't be the one to make the offer because he's not the one with a promoter and he's not the one everybody thinks is the face of boxing. So where is the sense of urgency?
The pressure that they put on Canelo Alvarez to fight every man, woman, and his dog, why don't they put that same pressure on Gervonta if Gervonta's supposed to be the face and not Canelo?
They're just hypocrites.
Hypocrites with double standards.
Which is hardly a rarity in this sport. If by some chance, some lucky dog chance the fight between them happened, Shakur Stevenson hit the nail on the head. Gervonta Davis would have to make some adjustments to fight a fighter like Shakur, kind of guy that he doesn't normally fight, because Shakur's gonna hang back and stay behind the straight punches, move around. Gervonta being the shorter, stumpier fighter of the two, he'd be the one that has to close the distance and press the issue.
But when you find yourself losing rounds to more simple fighters, easier fighters to find like Mario Barrios, Rolly Romero, more recently, Frank Martin.
Are we supposed to believe that any of those aforementioned fighters are anything like Shakur Stevenson, as well-schooled or as skillful? Is that what we're supposed to do?
You're losing rounds to guys like that. How many rounds would you lose to Shakur?
And if you don't knock him out, can you win a decision?
You know what I think.
You already know how I think that fight goes. I noticed that Shakur Stevenson doesn't try to drag Gervonta Davis's name in the mud the way Gervonta's fans try to drag his name through the mud.
He's respectful.
I like Eddie as who he is. I like who he is as a person. I respect him, like I said. But still, when we doing this, we gotta still know that I haven't made no decisions yet. No decision has been made yet, so that's what's important. I want that to get out there. But as far as Eddie, I appreciate him. I appreciate the way that he promotes me without even having me signed to a deal. And I appreciate him as a promoter in the sport of boxing because he's a good promoter. He don't talks down on a lot of the fighters, and he just speaks highly of them, and I think that's makes him one of the best.
He's not interested in that fight at all. But then Zepeda seems to be interested in that fight.
Why would you not be interested in that fight? I mean, he wants to fight for the world title. The kid, I'm sure, wants to make a lot of money. There's a lot of money in Shakur Stevenson against Zepeda. Just because you don't want to work with people, it's got nothing to do with you. I mean, that's like, it's so disrespectful to a fighter. That's like me saying to one of my fighters, "You're not having that fight because I don't like that. You know, I'm going to make the decisions." Fucking do that. The fight. I say to the fighter, "What do you want?" And the fighter says, "Now, if Zepeda don't want the fight, if Zepeda don't want the money, if Zepeda don't want a shot at the world title, that's his prerogative, but not the promoter. Do your job. Respect the fighter. You work for the fighter. That's it."
So when there was a blurb about preliminary talks between Team Stevenson and Team Zepeda, Oscar De La Hoya's reaction to all of that was stop with the fake news. I can only deduce that I guess those talks aren't real. There is no deal agreed upon, no number, no nothing.
What got my attention about what Eddie Hearn said is that, you know, if William wants the fight, that's one thing. If William wants the fight, then it's Oscar's job to get it done. But if he doesn't, that's something else. Then that's his prerogative.
So if you're one of these people that you think William Zepeda has the right style for the job, and you actually like his chances, what you then have to ask yourself is, how bad does he want the fight, though? How bad does he want it? Is he willing to fight for it against what could be Oscar De La Hoya's best wishes? Or is he going to hide behind Oscar? Hide behind the politics? Let them be in control.
Remember when Canelo Alvarez fought Erislandy Lara? That was against Oscar's best wishes. That wasn't what Oscar wanted. That was what Canelo wanted.
More recent years, Stephen Fulton traveling to Japan for Naoya Inoue. There was a plan in place for Stephen to fight Brandon Figueroa again, but that's not what Stephen wanted, and rumor has it that he's the one who advocated for the Inoue fight. He fought for it because he wanted it. Same applies to Spence and Crawford. What the PBC wanted Spence to do was move up in weight and fight Keith Thurman. Spence instead fought Crawford because he wanted to.
So does William want to fight Shakur?
He's his mandatory challenger, and I understand that he's number one ranked with more than one sanctioning body. In fact, he's number one ranked with all of them, but he's not getting Gervonta in the ring. He's not getting Loma in the ring. He could fight Dennis Berincic, but Dennis has less of a profile than Shakur.
Wait, why are you so sure he's not going to get Gervonta or Loma in the ring?
Gervonta is likely holding out for the winner of Isaac Cruz versus Rayo Valenzuela tomorrow. Loma took the rest of the year off. He's not coming back till next year.
That leaves Dennis and Shakur, and out of Dennis and Shakur, Shakur is more well-known.
I mean, in previous instances, we've all criticized fighters for hiding behind the politics and hiding behind their promotional outfits, the bureaucratic red tape. That criticism would apply here to William if he doesn't fight for this thing. And even if you like his chances, hell, I don't even think William is scared of Shakur.
I don't. But what the hell does it matter if he's not fighting for this fight? If he doesn't have it?
And then what are we going to do? Criticize Shakur because he doesn't quote-unquote fight anybody? Who wants to fight him?
Isaac already swerved him. Frank Martin already swerved him.
How many more fighters are going to be given a pass for avoiding Shakur Stevenson? Because that's what's going on. And finally, in men's heavyweight news, Jared Anderson tells Eddie Hearn, bet against me and you'll lose your money. Santa Monica, California, Jared Anderson is at the point in his career where he can't afford to miss a trick. The unbeaten and top 5 heavyweight, at least according to the WBC, WBO, and WBA, made it clear he's paying attention this past Tuesday, stopping on stage to confront Saturday fight promoter Eddie Hearn over a social media video where Hearn told Saudi Arabia's power broker, Turki Al-Sheikh, that Anderson's bout against Martin Bakole is a 50-50 fight, and Anderson may lose. Don't bet against me. Let's make a wager, Anderson told Hearn.
I mean, at least on paper it is.
A 50-50 fight? Hearn answered, as I've said in the media, you win this fight, you're the real deal. All right, you're gonna find out, Anderson replied. Being young and American from Toledo, Ohio, the 24-year-old Anderson, 17-0 with 15 KOs, offers tough-to-resist potential that Al-Sheikh clearly noticed by designating him an ambassador, along with main event fighter Terence Crawford and others for Saudi Arabia's Riyadh season, which is sponsoring Saturday's stacked card at the BMO Stadium in LA. Anderson, who has sparred many times with former heavyweight champion and top-ranked stablemate Tyson Fury, trained with Fury's cornerman Sugar Hill Stewart in Florida.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
Stewart explains everything thoroughly, breaks down why he wants you to do it. My preparation was amazing, Anderson said. We're not playing games, no slouches. Everybody's being well compensated. I love it. This is bringing the game back. Anderson has experienced 2 brushes with the law over the past year. A November arrest in Ohio for improperly handling firearms in a motor vehicle. He pleaded no contest a month later, and then leading Michigan police on a high-speed chase for 6 miles, with speeds reaching 130 miles per hour back in March. Anderson returned to the ring April 13th, handily defeating a non-responsive Riyad Merhi in Texas. He declared his readiness for Bakole, telling reporters he informed Hearn, "Put some fucking money on it. I promise he'll lose his money every time." Hearn remains somewhat skeptical.
I don't blame him.
Between his legal skirmishes outside of the ring and his less than inspiring performances inside of the ring, there's reason enough to believe that Jared Anderson, his heart really isn't in it.
Do you remember what he said?
I remember some months ago Jared Anderson said that he's not in it for the long haul. He wants to make his money in boxing, get in and get out. That's what he said.
That's what he said.
I think that Martin Bakole would have to be the biggest puncher that he will have ever fought. Up until now, the biggest puncher that he ever fought, I think it was former IBF champion Charles Martin. A bigger puncher and a bigger man than Jared Anderson is used to fighting.
Similar assignment on Saturday.
I don't know enough to tell whether Jared Anderson deserves to be the favorite or not, but I do know Martin Bakole is not Joshua and he's not Usyk, but he is a world-class fighter, and he beats a lot of guys in the top 15, Hearn said, and I don't think Jared has ever boxed at that level before. I'm telling you, I think it's a war. Anderson conceded he respects Bakole. It's a fight, man. You've got to show up, like everyone else.
But is that what Jared Anderson did with Charles Martin? Is that what he did with Riyad Merhi? Is that what he did? Show up? He looked less than inspired.
Frankly, in the Charles Martin fight, about 2 or 3 fights ago, he looked downright beatable. He looked average. Anderson was vague about who he wants to fight in victory as he observes a heavyweight landscape that includes Daniel Dubois, Anthony Joshua.
I'm not convinced he's going to beat Martin on Saturday.
So let's just get that out the way. I believe that Jared Anderson has developed some bad habits over time because of how they've been matching him, and they've been matching him with these moderately sized heavyweights, guys around 6'2", maybe lower. Guys like George Arias and Rudenko, more recently Riyad Merhi. These heavyweights are compact heavyweights, much smaller than a Martin Bakole, and they don't punch as hard as that guy. So when you see Jared Anderson pulling back in straight lines, which you're not really supposed to do, as it leaves you open for a straight backhand, it's because he's grown accustomed to being the taller, longer fighter who can fight on the outside. But how do you do that with someone who's taller and longer and perhaps stronger than you are?
I just don't have that kind of faith in this kid.
I think Martin Bakole, if he gets through how Charles Martin was getting through, he can do a lot more damage than Charles Martin did.
I think that Jared only really took the fight because of the financial incentive attached to it. Turkey is making it worth his while, but I'm not convinced his heart is in it.
And I'm not convinced that he can avoid Martin Bakole's power all night for the whole fight. I'm just not.
So here it is. I'm going with Martin. If Jared Anderson wants to prove me wrong, go in there and prove me wrong.
Make me a believer, because I'm not believing it. I saw Martin Bakole manhandle Tony Yoka, manhandle Carlos Takam.
This was all recent.
Well, you're looking bang average with guys like Riyad Merhi. I saw him stop a guy in Poland on the undercard of Usyk versus Dubois. He's been looking devastating. You've been looking average.
I'm going with Martin Bakole for the upset.
I don't actually know how the odds makers have it. Do they have Jared Anderson the favorite? I don't know.
But I'm going with Martin to beat him.